In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 ways to not feel tired in retirement. These are things that you can either start doing or things that you can keep doing once you retire. It's easy to sort of lose track of your life when you're no longer driven by work, and some of that can be good, right? And some of it can be bad though, because it's easy to sort of fall into a slump. So consider these things if you're noticing that you're more tired in retirement, or if you're going to retire soon and you want to make sure that you are energetic and you still feel great in retirement. Because sometimes I think when we're working so many hours and we're sort of stressed, we're driven by that stress, and it's sort of an adrenal rush, which taxes our system a little bit. So when we retire, we want to do things that help us feel energetic naturally. This is a little bit different from the videos that I usually do. I usually talk more about finance. Let me know if you'd like it in the comments section. So the first thing you can do is, it's kind of a no-brainer, but it's easy to fall into watching too much television and or being on your computer all the time. I find it almost impossible to not be on my computer or my phone. Now I cheat and I say, okay, I'm not going to be on my computer anymore, and I'll think of something I want to research, or maybe even just something I want to buy. And I grab my phone and I make a purchase, but then I think, well, I want to research it first. So here I am doing it on my phone when I think I could be doing this easier on my laptop. Enough already. So have times that you absolutely want to allow yourself to have a type of screen in front of you, and certainly limit the amount of time that you spend watching Netflix and sort of mindless television. I love movies and find them to be very entertaining and a great escape. I'm not suggesting you stop watching what you love, but be conscious of how much time you're spending in front of a screen and limit the amount of time. Set some firm limits on yourself. The next thing you can do to not feel tired in retirement is to make sure that you actually have all the vitamin levels that you should have in your body. I went in and found out I was deficient in several vitamins, and you could be too. I hear this commonly. There are numerous reasons why this happens, but what you can do is you can either go to a doctor and have this tested, or you can do an at-home test. Now, I've been to a doctor and found out, I went to a functional medicine doctor actually, and she did it, but I researched this for my video and I wanted to let you know that you can do this at home, and I'm going to put a link below in the description that I found to an article that tells 5 of the best at-home tests that you can do to see if you might be low in vitamins. And I think B in particular is one that you want to make sure that you're not low on as far as your energy. And I won't go down a rabbit hole about that. I'll put the link below in the description. So make sure that you've got the vitamins that you need in your system. The third thing you can do to not feel tired in retirement is to simply keep some form of structure in your life. You know, if you're in your first week of retirement, first month of retirement even, let it go. You know, go all out and let yourself be loose. But eventually, I really think that having some form of structure gives us more energy. It's our friend. And we resist structure because we want the freedom and flexibility. But what I found is when I put some structure in my life, I feel better about things. I feel more focused. I get more done, and that makes me feel good, and I feel more energetic. So keep some structure in your life, including a morning routine that energizes you, that gets your day off to a good start. And if you'd like this information, let me know and I'll do another video about morning routines, how to establish a morning routine in retirement. I love having a morning routine. The next thing you can do to have more energy in retirement is to allow yourself some time to recover. If you think about it, you've probably been through decades of long days, you know, a lot of work, a mental fatiguing environment that has a lot of mental fatigue because you're thinking and you're working all day. And this can often also involve eating poorly, not exercising, just feeling stressed, just taxing your adrenals. So allow yourself some time months, maybe a year or 2 years for your body to recover from many years of being stressed out, of being taxed. So give yourself that time and realize that this can happen, and it doesn't happen overnight. If it takes you decades to get to where you are, your body being taxed or stressed or fatigued, then it may take years for it to get back to a really great situation where you don't feel tired every day. The next thing you can do to not feel tired in retirement is simply to master your sleep. I'm going to share with you a couple of tips about this that I've learned. One I learned from an acupuncturist, and it was simply to keep a little snack by the bed, because I think that sometimes I wake up because of blood sugar. Now, having said that, some of you are probably appalled by this idea of eating in the middle of the night, especially during this time when intermittent fasting is so very popular. But I find that if I eat too late, then this is what happens, and I have that blood sugar wake up. So what I like to do is just either get up and I'll have a little glass of what I drink is kefir. It's goat's milk kefir because I don't drink cow's milk, but my mother used to say she would drink a little glass of milk if she woke up during the night. So if you consume milk, then that might be something. Or you can even keep a little bit of trail mix or something like that by your bed. There are many different snacks you could keep, but those are the things that I like to do or nibble on if this happens. It rarely happens anymore since I started meditating, which I'll get to in just a second. And I also just really try to be disciplined about not eating late. But let's face it, we can't always eat before 6, 7 o'clock, which I think is really the best thing to do. And sometimes we want to have dinner with friends and they don't want to eat like an old person. So this is a good tip that I've learned, at least one that works well for me. The other one is what I find about waking up during the night is it stresses me out to feel like I'm laying there for half an hour, sometimes longer. I feel like I'm wasting time. I feel like I could be doing something, even if it's something I really enjoy. So what I do is I frequently listen to either a podcast or an audiobook, and I set the timer on my phone and I just doze back off. I really like to have my phone on airplane mode when I sleep because it's not good to have that by your head, from what I understand. So I like to either use Audible and listen to a book there, or I'll listen to something that I've downloaded. And that is a super way to just sort of doze back off. A lot of the times I won't even get into 10 minutes of listening to something because it's just very, very relaxing. Listen to something that's mildly informative, not so informative that it's stimulating, but something that is a little bit boring. And you may even want to try fiction. I don't really read fiction, so whatever it is though that works for you. The next tip relates to sleep, and that is to simply turn off your alarm unless you absolutely have to go do something. And maybe have to go do something is going to the gym, but do you really have to go to the gym at that time? One of my girlfriends recently said that she sets her alarm every day for 5 o'clock. And I said, why? And she said, well, because I like to go ahead and work out and get showered and start my day by 6 o'clock. And I said, why? And she said, well, I just do. And then she takes a nice nap, which I'll talk about in a second. But if you don't have to have your alarm on, why would you put that pressure on yourself? So it can make a lot of sense just to turn off the alarm, because your body knows when it needs to wake up, and it will wake up for you at the time it needs to wake up. So turn off that alarm and at least give it a try if you're already or still using your alarm. The next tip to not feel tired in retirement is if you have a spouse or someone that you sleep with, a bed partner, and they snore, it can really, really be problematic. So you'll want to get that under control. There are a lot of different ways you can do this. A lot of people end up getting a machine for sleep apnea. Another way to address this is with these little strips that go over your nose. And another way that you can address this is with a bite guard that reduces snoring. The next tip for not being tired in retirement is to schedule a fun trip for your first quarter or so in retirement, it just gives you something really fun and exciting to look forward to. And when we're excited about something, we're just less likely to feel tired. It's been said that the problem with retirement is that you never get a day off from retirement. And as a type A personality, I can certainly relate to that. So allow yourself to schedule days off from retirement. Those are days where you don't have to do anything. You don't have to work in the yard, or you don't have to clean the house, or you don't have to run errands, or you don't have to fix something or paint something or do any of the other things that we often feel like we absolutely have to do, which is increased, I've found, with technology thousandfold. So allow yourself, go ahead and schedule those days off. And then the next way to not feel tired in retirement is to allow yourself to take a cat nap. Now, you know yourself much better than I know you, but what I find is a cat nap from 5 to 10 minutes is, I get up and I just start my day over. It's like I'm rested and I've had a full night's sleep. Absolutely love cat naps in the early afternoon. If this is something that will help you and make you feel more energetic, do it. If Google has pods, and many companies now have pods where you can take a cat nap, there has to be something to this, and it can increase your productivity and absolutely help you not feel tired. In fact, what I do is I go ahead and have my afternoon tea. Now, I do this early because my tea is white tea and it has a little bit of caffeine in it, so I don't want it to interfere with my sleep. But if something like this works for you, you may want to give it a try. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in one more thing to do in retirement so that you don't feel tired. And I'm throwing this in simply because I've really gotten into it lately. I'll do another video on it. If it interests you, let me know in the comments if any of these things interest you and you want me to talk more about them. But the last thing I want to share with you is to meditate, to reduce feeling tired in retirement. It frees your mind. It allows you to get rest. And if you can't sleep and you just get up and meditate, it's like you've slept. In fact, I've heard that meditation is better than sleep as far as restoration. And you can meditate for a shorter time frame than it requires to sleep to get the same amount of restoration for your body. And remember, above all, retire certain.